Hey, today's kind of fun. I have two of Moe's wedges that he gave me. This one here is a club he considered his favorite wedge. And if you look at this, it's an Accuform club. This is a Canadian company back in the day, a good golf company. Made some very interesting and pretty neat looking clubs. But he would shave off the leading edge of the wedge and then put a ton of weight in the back. You can see how much weight the club has in the back. And then obviously has Moe's grip on here, this kind of wrap grip that he put kind of hockey tape on here and wrapped it down and then put some black electrical tape to keep it on there. Anyway, this was one of the clubs Moe, he gave me this as one of his favorite golf clubs. He loved this club. We're going to talk about this. Then he gave me this, looks like it's a 52-degree wedge here with, it says Moe's name on the back of it. Interestingly enough about this club is he always talked about how he liked to hit a gap wedge and more of these type of wedges as opposed to lobbing the ball and having too much spin on it. So today we're going to talk about Moe's wedge game. Most people don't realize how incredibly good he was with the wedge. Matter of fact, I shot an entire video in Pinehurst with Moe watching him hit wedge shots. Let's go take a look at my time spent with Moe on the practice range.
Moe Norman is golf's unsung hero. His incredible record includes 54 victories in tournaments 2 days or longer, including 2 Canadian Amateur Championships, 33 course records, 3 at 59, 4 others at 61. He calls a hole-in-one a fluke. He's hit at least 17, and he's a member of the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame. Moe earned his reputation as the greatest ball striker that ever lived with his unique and repeatable swing. But his master short game is widely recognized as well. Moe will attest to the fact that the short game in golf accounts for the majority of the shots made, but is the least practiced. Seeing the genius in Moe's flawless straight shooting swing and his proficient short game techniques inspired golf professional Todd to become a student of Moe and has incorporated Moe's techniques into his own golf game. He is now widely known as Little Moe. Join Moe Norman as he shares short game techniques with golf professional Todd Graves in a unique one-on-one session.
Oh, so nice to hit practice balls, hit what you play with. So nice. Oh, heck. Instead of that hard sound, eh? Instead of that real hard sound on the range balls. Right there. Keep that right arm. Keep that right arm right there all along.
That was a little different ball, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, nice and high. Here's a higher one. Just want to come down real soft. Nice like that. Yeah. Now lower. Pitch and run.
What do you do to do that? Put it back
Play
in
a
your
little
chest?
back and yeah, and drag my left wrist. See? Yeah. If anything, take it off the club.
Mm-hmm.
At impact, if anything.
And then hit one higher. Uh-huh.
Okay. But still always the same stroke, the same tempo. See? Always, never change that. See? Just the angle of the club. Higher. But look how nice.
So it feels more up and down.
Oh yeah, look. Just kiss the green, stop. Mm-hmm. Nice. Look. So nice. I do everything with flight, height. No, very some try and get fancy. Don't make the shot tougher than it is. Especially the way greens are today. Greens hold so good today.
Do you try to just give this a bounce to roll up to the hole?
Yeah,
like
no,
a one
no,
bounce?
Yeah, no, it's a miniature putt, okay. 130-foot putt. It's a 130-foot putt.
Mm-hmm.
See? That's the way I picture it.
And you still feel your hands going right to the target.
Oh, do I ever? Look at, look
Yeah.
at.
Oh yeah.
I feel my right hand's gonna shake hands with the flight
Do you
stick.
feel like you're tossing?
Yeah.
Tossing with the right hand?
Yeah, yeah. Here, I'll toss it in the hole.
Oh yeah.
I tossed it in the hole.
Underhanded.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Made it.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Same thing on this 50-yard shot?
Oh yeah. Sure. Same thing. Right there. Right there. Use the pitching wedge. I don't use.
Oh really?
See, not if I use 60, because the loft of the club would do it then.
Right.
But here I got to do it. See?
The
Yeah.
50 degree.
It's always, all my life. See, I cut that one.
Uh-huh.
See?
Right. Hit one right to the front of the green there.
Oh yes. Now I'll play it forward, take the club a little outside, but.
Uh-huh. Now when would you ever play the ball back in your stance?
Well, if the pin was way back on top up there now, and I know I got a lot of green.
Okay, hit one to the back of the
See?
green for me.
If I knew, see?
Uh-huh.
See?
Uh-huh. So lower, more roll
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah. Especially if I know I got a lot of green, see?
Right.
See?
You've always used a 50 around the greens.
This? Yeah.
Got more control over it?
Yes, much more.
Don't have to swing as hard at it?
No. And I got the same angle of a club, but I just do it with my hands. Here's higher. Look how soft it is, even a pitching wedge. Look, never need much softer than that. Because there's no hard greens anymore. What, a little higher again? That'll hold any green.
So would you recommend people using a less lofted club to hit some of these shots?
Oh yeah.
So they don't have to swing as hard at it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. It's strictly feel. That's all this shot is. Look, I'm gonna feel it to the hole. Look, I felt it to the hole.
You don't think there's any need for a 60-degree wedge in the bag?
Oh yeah. Nowadays, the way greens are built nowadays, yes. Not too much back in my day. Greens were little round, flat things, but now the undulations. Oh yeah.
Right. So what club do you drop if you're going to carry a 60? I mean,
I never did. I don't know. I wouldn't know what. Depending on the course. Whether I need my 5-wood or not, or if I only need a 3, or something like that. Depending on the course. Nice. Never any backspin. I never want backspin. Can't judge backspin.
now do you play some of these shots off the slope? Like you see this thing going right to left a little bit?
Certainly, sure. Yeah.
Just like that. Now, do you ever think about, are you thinking about holing this shot when you're hitting it?
yeah.
Or are you thinking about where you want to leave it to have an uphill putt?
Sink it.
Sink it.
It's just a miniature putt. You're aiming at the hole, so knock the sucker in. Oh no, trying to sink it. Every iron shot I hit, I'm trying to sink. Yeah.
Even a 3-iron's a miniature putt to you.
Sure. Right there. Never need much softer than that.
So most people don't realize how incredibly good Moe was with his wedges. And you saw in some of that video him hitting those wedge shots. It just makes it look so simple. A couple things about Moe, his wedge game that I think we have to take in consideration here is, number one, how well the club moved relative to plane. We're going to talk about just the plane of a wedge and how simple it is to move the club correctly. We're going to talk about how to get the hands leading in a way. So we're going to talk about how the hands can move up and down and still lead the club. We got to get the hands leading all the time in a wedge, especially in tight lies. And let's talk about also one of the key components that Moe always discussed with me was that you don't really necessarily want to think about spin. You're not trying to spin every wedge shot. You're trying to hit the most appropriate shot and give the ball a chance to roll up into the hole. So it's not about hitting these. I see too many people trying to hit crazy high spin shots. They're not playing percentages. They're not playing the best shot for that shot. And I understand that there's certain situations on the golf course where you're behind a bunker and those shots are required, but it's not that many shots. So I see a lot of people try to do too much with the wedge. Now I will say this too. I need to practice more with my wedges. Everybody needs to practice more with their wedges. It's a feel shot. It's technique. There's technique involved, which is important, but it's also relative to feel. So let's do the first thing here. This is a 52-degree wedge. I have about maybe 30 yards to that flag here. I've got plenty of green. I probably got 20, 25 feet of green there. And just like you saw Moe, I think it's important to understand that, you know, I like to keep the feet a little bit open, especially when I'm hitting little wedge shots. Why is that? Well, because the body needs to be in a rotation for the hands to lead. It's relative to the full swing. We talk a lot about it at Graves Golf that this short game relates to the long game. And what that means is my hands can lead, but only if my body has an impact type rotation. That's why you want your feet slightly open so your shoulders can open up on the way through. So watch me hit a couple shots here, and you'll notice the ball's placed back in my stance. My feet are a little bit open, and the face is still at the target there. And you're going to see my hands are always going to lead, and it's a very simple shot. And here's what's fascinating about this shot, though. What's great about it is that my hands, and this is my little tips and secrets. It's really how I relate to the information that I've been given. And my brother is a fantastic teacher of the short game. He's one of the best I've ever seen. He's probably one of the best teachers of the short game out there. But my brother talks about the hands always accelerating. One of the ways I always have my hands accelerating is to make sure I don't take it back very far, right? And I think it's part of the reason Moe had really heavy clubs. If you look at his club and you look at the weight on this thing, you can see all that lead tape that's sitting in the back of that. That's because I honestly believe that he wanted to move the club less and still get the energy in the golf ball. So once again, this one's not near as heavy as that one, but hands, so the ball's back in my stance, which allows my hands to be slightly forward already. My feet are open, and it allows me to take a short backswing, and then it naturally accelerates the club. There's a natural acceleration to that golf club. In other words, if the handle's always leading and the club's lagging, the club has some speed to it. The other thing that Moe discussed a lot was how it feels like you're tossing. Now, from that camera angle there, you're going to see how it looks like that the club's always kind of tossing and accelerating. So once again, you see that it's just kind of a tossing of the hands and the arms. So I'm tossing golf balls up to the hole. It's a tossing motion, right? That's what acceleration really means. If I was going to take this golf ball, I would open up, right? My body would be open slightly, and I would open my body up so I could toss the golf ball. See the direction of my arms? How many times have you heard Moe talk about the direction of the arms? If you close the body off, the direction of the arms have to go across your body. Not with Moe. The way he moved the club was a tossing motion. So you want to put your body and the hands and position yourself to where you're in an open position, and then you take the club back and you simply just toss and give the shot some chance to roll up to the hole too. If you got room on the green, let it go up there, right? Obviously this is a huge slope over to the left up on this hole, so I should probably aim a little more to the right. But once again, aim a little more to the right. I'm going to toss the golf ball to the right, and then watch it come off the slope now. Here it comes down. That one's a little closer to the hole. So that's another thing. Now I got another piece of advice when it comes to working on your short game. You need to practice with the golf balls you play with, because so much of this is feel, right? If you grab your bucket of range balls, and I'm not saying don't take some range balls and chip, I do it all the time, but it's not that great a practice because it's good for technique and it's good for, you know, getting the hands to work right, and you can get some good practice with range balls, don't get me wrong. But if I'm really getting some field practice and I care about, you know, kind of result practice here, I've got to hit the balls, types of balls I play with. Now, there's, you know, Titleist golf balls make a really high quality golf ball, the Pro V, and then Callaway, the Chrome Soft, and you got all these different great good golf balls. The ERC, those are good caliber golf balls and they feel really well and they're made for feel and playability. Make sure you play with the correct golf ball. Have a handful of them in your bag. Take 10, carry a little bag with you, and practice short game shots with the balls you play with. Now, final thing, let's talk about playing. And that camera angle back there will be able to recognize this a little bit more. I only have a couple golf balls left, so let me go through this. So playing here is basically how the hands are working up and down and creating angle of approach. Here's what I feel like, all right? Here's what I feel like. I feel like right here that the butt end points at the ball and then it comes straight back down. So I'm pointing and then coming down. It's an up and down feeling to me. It's very much up and down, right? I see way too many shots hit where people snatch the club to the inside, they lift it up, they're trying to flop it with an open face. I mean, there's room for some of that when you're experimenting with hitting it higher and low. Like I can hit the shot a little higher with an open face, but in general, it's the same motion. I'm not trying to snag it inside, I'm not trying to lift it up. I'm simply, hands are going a little bit up, pointing the butt end right towards the ball and then coming straight down, which is the beautiful plane you see in Moe's action, right? You saw that in the video. His action was an up and down look of his hand action, and the ball goes straight up and down. That's how wedges should be struck, is you need the hand action. Now, it's not a snatch of the hands, it's a movement of the arms and shoulders and hands to an up and down motion that lets the club, the hands lead, the body's open, and the club goes nice down, and you can feel like you're tossing the ball to the hole. That's the whole process here. That's what you see Moe hitting wedge shots. He was a genius, and I love the way when he hits those shots, how he's playing for a roll. He's playing for the ball to go in. I bet you he hold a lot of golf shots and a lot of wedge shots in his day.